Yeah, that'll do it.
Do I hit this button? Oh, okay. All right. Welcome to the Bird Show.
Well, tonight we're lucky. We have Brooke and Brian joining us.
Welcome. I guess I should do this. Yay! So.
And I'm excited to be back working on this painting. The Violin Lady.
Yes. So, is your goal to finish it today?
I don't like to live in boundaries like that. No.
Please stop trying to box me in.
Yeah, don't box me in. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm gonna work a lot more on it. But if it needs more time, then that's cool too.
Okay.
But so I don't really know. But I want to work more on her hair, her face. I want to start getting more of those details and stuff in. And I'm curious too, like if Brooke and Brian have any ideas for colors and different things, or if people on chat have an idea.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, we got John Osbo joined and Azur joined. You remember Azur?
Oh my goodness, yeah, man.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Way back when we did the live streams more consistently, but
yeah.
Man, thank you for coming back, and we're getting back into it. We're doing it. We're gonna be doing this all the time now.
Yes, that's
I
the
always
goal.
love the way you do the hair, like the different colors in the hair.
Oh,
the way
thank you.
it flows. It kind of reminds me of some of the older stuff you used to do, and it was always my favorite.
Oh well, thank you for saying that you like the hair. I thought you were talking about my hair at first, and I was gonna go like, oh, thank
I
you.
like your hair too,
Oh, the
John.
painting. Okay, fine. All right.
Oh,
I see how it is.
Well, I like the way your hair flows too, but you cut it all off. So.
I did. It got really windy up on that wall. I was painting it, and finally it was like, nope.
Well, and it was hot.
Yeah, it was like 100 degrees. Where the hair would blow, and it'd stick. My hair used to be really long, or longer, and much longer, and it was so hot it would like fly, and then stick to my face. And I'm up on the wall. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It was an OSHA hazard or something.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when we had to do that. I mean, we would go out, and we'd have to go as soon as we were allowed to use the loud, construction machines, and then just be able to work until the sun came out. And the minute the sun came out, we were out. Because that was like, what, July? We did that in July.
I want to say June,
no,
July.
it was May. It was May.
Oh, but it was super hot. Like we had
That's right.
Crazy May here. It was.
Yeah, it was May, so it was obnoxious. And
yeah, the summer in
Texas.
The summer in Texas was interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting my colors out. And I made a list of all the colors and everything, and some tips and stuff for writing that we put on our Patreon page, and so I'm just kind of using that as a catch-all. Like it's a nice one place to go where I can just list all the stuff I'm doing about all the paintings, and where it can live there and be there. So I got that over there now, and there's actually some this drawing before it had paint on it is over there as well. So, and with some ideas of how, if you can't draw, how to be able to do it yourself, how to be able to do this painting, and also how to be able to mix it up. Because one of the best things about painting, it isn't like having the finished painting, but it's actually working on it and doing it. I love these chats and I love to do that, but I get to have all the fun because I'm the one painting. So if anybody wants to do this painting, all that's over there. So, and I was wondering, this is something I really wanted to open up whenever we did the live show again. Was one of the biggest things. I'm sorry, I'm looking for paints, and I of course, like me, I've scattered them everywhere. So now I'm trying to organize them all. Found one. But I was wondering, one of the things that I've noticed the most when people are about to get into art is that they'll say, oh, I can't paint because I can't draw, and illustration and drawing seems to be like the biggest thing, like the biggest hurdle for people. And you don't really have to be able to draw to be able to paint. And, even if it's going to be a realistic figure, there's ways to be able to get around that.
What would you tell somebody that was intimidated by a white canvas? What would be their first? What would you say?
Oh man, well,
I get intimidated by a white canvas.
Oh,
do you?
that's huge.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, be intimidated no more.
There you go.
One of the best things to do is just to make a mark. And that's one of the things that I put in that Patreon thing was how to get started, because that's the hardest thing. Like, you don't know. Like, you're afraid you're going to make a mistake. You don't really know for sure what to do. You know, and if you just make a mark, then you can immediately decide if you like it or if you don't like it, and then you've started the process. But it's the same way if you're writing something, or if you're, if it's getting those first words on the page, and it's getting the first marks on a canvas. So just putting some marks, you can always use white paint and cover it up.
Yeah.
But just getting that first mark on there, like if and one of the things I put on that post was drawing. A lot of times people think that they have to have like a perfect drawing the first time that they put a paintbrush to the canvas, or a pencil to paper, or whatever it is they're using. Most artists, or a lot of artists, they use a technique where you might make 100 lines. So like if I was going to make a line on her nose, I might make a line, and then I just pick the line that seems right to me, and then I'll make another line going with it, and then you darken the lines that work, and then you forget about the other ones, or you erase them. For me, I'll use paint that I can feel, and I'll do that, and I'll think, no, I don't like it, and I'll wipe it out, and I'll put another, and I don't like it, and I'll just keep wiping them off until I get the one that works.
I know. When I was taking figure drawing, what I enjoyed doing was a sort of like they would have this exercise where it was like 15-second sketches, and you were only allowed 15 seconds, and then the model would move, so you were screwed if you didn't finish.
Didn't we try that here at one point?
Well, I know we had Mel in. We had Mel in. We didn't do 15 seconds. She held a pose, and for a while, that was fun. But you're forced to kind of like get out of your head with like overthinking the line, because you're just like trying to like get it down as quick as possible, and then the seconds would get longer, and you'd be adding more and more lines, and usually the darkest line, because that's where you kept going and felt right, was usually the right line. So I remember that being really helpful in figure drawing when we would do that exercise. Yeah,
it's you can definitely overthink it.
Is it true that red is the hardest color though to like cover over? Like if you've done something in red, that it's harder than any other color to actually paint over and cover?
I haven't. That's a good question. And the paints that I use, it also depends on your paint, because there's different qualities of paints, and like you can get student quality or artist quality, and usually the higher the quality, the thicker the paint is.
Right.
And a lot of the paints I use are student because I want a thinner paint.
Yeah.
But then if you get like a really nice thick white, it'll cover anything.
Yeah.
Although you're right though, you'll cover it through and it'll bleed through. And so will black. It depends on the black, but like a bone black will, I don't know, it seems like it just wants to bleed through anything. But kudos to the bone black for doing that.
Well, you put enough coats on it, surely eventually it'll come.
Eventually, yeah. And then you've got like
there you go. Exactly.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden a texture.
Exactly.
That's true.
And right now in this painting, I'm just going through. I have marks where I can feel that I've done before, and of course you can see I worked on that painting last time. But I have ideas for the way I want it to go, so I can work pretty quickly on her skirt, because I blocked it in, and now I'm just adding some details. And this is going to be covered up too, mostly, so it just lets you be a little freer. I like to work in layers because I think it gives an interesting look, but also you can be a little freer, and you don't have to worry about every brush stroke being absolutely perfect, because you go back through, and for me, like, I'll feel it, and if I like it, then I won't touch it again, and then I'll just keep going and going until I like all the parts of it. So if that sounds simplistic,
it works for you.
Yeah, it kind of is. So hopefully this painting will work out, and that's one thing too I think that stops a lot of people, is that you want to have a masterpiece or something, and it's not about the finished painting. It's about the act of painting, because when you're painting, you're living brushstroke to brushstroke. You're not thinking about anything else, and that's what's important. But like this painting, it could turn out, or it might not, I mean, it's almost like Christmas, where, like, you open up a present on Christmas morning, and maybe it's the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip, or maybe it's a pair of socks from your grandmother, and either way, you got to roll with it, and you can make the best of it.
What made you choose violinist?
Oh, I thought you were going to say G.I. Joe.
Well,
because G.I. Joe's awesome. Especially when I was a kid, I got an old G.I. Joe, like from the 50s or something. And he was like the old ones are about like this big. They're like 12 inches tall or so, and they have like a real felt beard. I just love to rub his beard.
What?
Yeah. Joe's been around. I wanted to do a music painting, and I just love the violin. I can't play it. I know Brooke can play the violin, but
Yes.
and I just love the music that it makes and the sound and how much energy a person can have with it. It's
I
like
know, I'm always jealous.
Mhm.
Like, I always wanted to learn the violin, and that did
Yeah.
not work out for me.
You got Jack one. That didn't.
Well, I got myself one. I had. I got my. I pulled one of those things where you're like later in your life, you're like, I'm gonna take it back up again. Well, I mean,
This is gonna happen.
I'm gonna teach myself this, and bought one, and it was a cheap one off. Gosh, I think eBay at the time, and had that forever. I think you borrowed the bow, right?
I still have it.
Okay, yeah,
But
so-
I have to get my other bow repaired, and now
Yeah.
both of them need to be repaired.
Well, it's. I mean, the bridge of the violin fell off, and
oh yeah.
Anyway,
I can
so-
put that back.
I'm jealous.
Don't give up.
Yeah, this
I'll
year.
fix it.
Oh, wow.
My 2019 like growing experience. I've decided
Oh,
I'm gonna learn to skateboard.
wow.
Okay.
I
Sorry, I could not find words, but what? Okay, have you thought longboard instead of skateboard, or maybe rollerblading?
Oh, I'm not doing roller. I did roller derby. I
You
can't
did
go to
roller
a.
derby.
I can't
Okay,
go to a
so-
roller
okay.
blading.
Well, okay. What about
apparently for 2019, I'm gonna have to learn triage. 'Cause-
longboarding?
Longboarding would be cool. I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. I don't want to do tricks and stuff. That's
Well,
not the
then
thing.
don't do a skateboard.
But
do
I want,
longboard.
but I want to be portable. I want to be like, I want to just have my
Get a
board.
scooter
I want to throw it
and
in my
moped.
backpack. I want to be portable. And the longboards are so big. Anyway, the violin. I thought,
Back to the violin.
anyway, I thought I'd rock it, and I didn't, and the bridge broke, and then I was like, whatever. I'm not doing Silent
I'll
Night
put that
and
back in
Jingle
place for you,
Bells.
girl.
That's
So-
cool. That's sweet of you, bro. Oh, we were talking before we started the live stream, and Brooke knows about this artist here in Denton that sounds really interesting. But she plays the violin, and Brooke was saying that she wears a mask though while she plays
Super
it.
cool.
Yeah, that
Beautiful
sounds
girl.
really cool.
That's
And she's amazing. She plays with a lot of bands. But
you,
yeah,
you don't know her name, do you?
I have to find her on my Facebook. We're buddies, but I'm really bad at remembering that stuff.
I am too.
Yeah,
I'm the worst at
she-
names. It's just
She'd be really good at sitting. So I should say really fast that we've got some people that have joined. I gotta backtrack a little bit. Michael Roberts joined. What's up?
hey man,
Owen joined. John Truman
Hey, Owen.
and Lacey Slocum. Lacey says hi.
hey.
Julie Seymour joined, and Anthony Gomez. And then, Lacey asked, "Have you ever gotten close to being done and changed your mind about it? Changed your mind about the look, and then redone the painting?"
Yes. Yes, I
the
have.
time.
I've done that. I do that a lot, actually. I haven't posted it yet, but I just dropped off a Buddy Holly painting that I did, and it's a really big painting. And I worked on that thing for, how long did I work on it?
You worked on it for about a month.
About a month. But I mean, but I worked on it a lot, and I kept redoing parts of it. I finally redrew his hand completely. I did different color changes just until it felt right. And the great thing about that is that it doesn't matter how long it takes you to paint a piece, because once it's done forever. So just take your time, and it's about the process. And to be honest, like I worked on other paintings when I worked on the Buddy Holly painting, which I have the pictures. I'll need I'll post them, but. So you guys can decide for yourself, if it was worth the time or whatever. I love working on it. Oh my goodness.
It was big. It was big.
It was really big. It was really big, and I would listen to the music, and I looked up the history of the band, which I already knew a lot of it, but I learned so much more, and so you just was able, and so I wasn't really trying to rush through it, to be honest, because it was just I enjoyed working on it, and it was a commission piece, and the gentleman that commissioned it, he had bought a giant Willie Nelson painting that I did.
Yeah.
And so he wanted the two together, and so we went over to his house and took a picture next to both of the
Yeah, the two
paintings.
paintings next to each other because they were the exact same. They were both extremely big, but the exact same size. And he had just moved to a really nice new place in Dallas and was going to put them side by side on his big white wall. And it was like, Hopefully he'll send us a picture. I think he said he would send us a picture of what it looked like, but yeah, the two paintings next to each other are gonna look awesome. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, he had his designer come over when we were there, to be able to help him hang it and all,
Yeah.
and figure out the lighting and stuff, which I thought was really cool. I mean, that's gosh,
It's fancy.
yeah. Oh man, I just found out today. I don't know if you saw. Jackie's been out of the studio all day. They're naming a classroom after me in Scotland.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a John Bramlett classroom.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Isn't
I mean,
that
that's
cool?
awesome.
Yeah, I just found out, and
That's awesome.
I know I want to make a video about it, and in the thing they asked if I would like answer questions from the kids and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
heck yeah, I will answer questions.
Are they gonna have like a little plaque over the door? I mean, that's usually
In
what
my
you
mind-
do. In my mind,
The-
it's a
the-
bronze statue as you walk in.
Yeah, oh, is that, yeah.
You are?
John apparently just got
Um,
an email today or something.
Yeah, I got an email that they're naming a classroom in Scotland after me. So.
What?
So, which it's for kids, and so the kids want to ask questions, and so,
if people
That's
want to
awesome.
visit this, what can I type in?
Oh, John, it's John's John Bramlett art. It's his Facebook. Just
Okay.
go to Facebook.
yeah, and it should be on my private and my
Yeah,
not private,
sure.
but what's that called on Facebook? Personal and art page or
And
whatever.
art page. Yeah.
Is it personal? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Oh, I should say the last video, which really astounded us, we didn't let anybody know that we were going to do a live show because, to tell you the truth, we didn't know if it would work because all the Facebook book updates and the different kinds of software updates and different things, we weren't sure if it would actually mesh, and it did, and that's awesome. And but we had like 1,100 people, I think, actually watch it, and which to me is a brilliant, because which is a brilliant. I don't know. I'm changing. But it was so cool because I was saying last time, if two people watch, we're having a great time, and and we love chatting with everyone, and so it was really cool to hear that many people found us on a random night, and so this week I'm going to try to break that record and get 1,101. So I'm thinking big here.
Right.
Right,
If you have to take your shirt off, you got to take your shirt off.
Oh, No, we want the numbers to go up, not down. No, but I just thought that was cool. Like, I don't really care about the numbers. We're just, it's just I saw that and I thought, well, man, how cool of people to tune in and and want to watch the painting and stuff. And I thought that's pretty cool. But man.
Man, so I'm
gosh.
fascinated by this Scotland classroom situation. So I assume. Well, I wish I had read the email.
See what happens when you leave the studio?
I know I shouldn't go away for a day, but that's really cool. Congrats, babe.
Oh, thanks. It's for like a primary school or something.
That's awesome.
And I think it's awesome. But now though, I feel like
They were inspired.
Well, now we have to go to Scotland.
I know, and I feel like I've got to be a mentor now, and I got to keep up with all those children
Oh, God.
and make sure they're all behaving correctly, and say, no, that's not the way we work it in the Bramlett classroom. You're respectful of your elders. You always wash your hands. You sneeze in your elbow.
Sneeze in your elbow. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
I would think you'd be the person that goes in and is like, get messy.
Right.
Well, that's the way it
Throwing
would be,
paint
isn't it?
on the walls
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, that sounds like more fun. I want to do it y'all's way. I like y'all's way better.
So, Dylan joined us. Hello.
Oh, hey, Dylan.
Yeah.
Hi, Dylan.
Azur said, I missed you guys.
Oh, man, miss,
I
gosh.
know, I appreciate, following John's art. It's awesome.
Man, yeah, and it's so cool it's so cool to hear your name again. It's been
Been a long time.
Yeah.
it has and
And Wheels joined us. He says
Hey,
the
Wheels.
painting
Hey,
is awesome.
Mark,
Oh.
man, how you doing?
Yeah,
and-
Mark, it's been a long time.
Azur said, I need to get a Vespa instead of a skateboard.
Oh.
Apparently.
I agree.
And Dina Harrison joined us and said, John, I love your mom.
Oh.
So
Well-
she's not
Who
with us
doesn't?
tonight,
Oh,
but
thank you.
I wouldn't be surprised in the next few shows she hangs out. She likes to hang
Yeah.
out with us while we do
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Whenever you were talking about the modeling thing, about Mel coming over and she did some posing. That was a Roaring Twenties night.
Oh yeah.
And Mel dressed up in the 20s outfit, and my mom
It was
went over the
awesome.
top with it, little feather boa thing, and
Looking
all.
Or she had like a
Well,
fake
as usual.
cigarette.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
she don't,
She's
yeah,
awesome.
She looked the best. It was great.
yeah. And I talked to
Our
her today.
drawings were not the best.
All our drawings were kind of questionable, except for Patrick's. This was good.
Oh yeah.
This was
Mine,
good.
I don't even. And yet I was still the first one to share. I'm like, okay, just take it.
See, and that's why you're awesome, bro. You'll
So-
you'll get up and sing karaoke, although you can sing, so that kind of helps a little. But still, have to have the guts to do that.
So, Will said congrats on Scotland, and Lacey said, "Are you going over for a room dedication?"
Ooh.
Yeah.
I would love to. But
We'll
we'll.
probably pay for it ourselves, but
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I should respond back to the email and say, well, great. So when do
do
the
you
tickets
want?
arrive?
Yeah, really.
And when does the limo pick us up? There better be fresh flowers. No, I
We
just.
want green M&Ms, please.
Yeah, just green M&Ms.
I thought
Like
that
a
was.
20-page contract that they better get right.
Yeah, man.
Um,
I just
Thinks he's Beyonce now.
I just thought that was cool. Kids are cool.
That is really cool. And
That is really
you get a lot of. John gets a lot of emails from different schools that where kids will ask questions, and you'll go out and talk to a lot of schools and stuff. So that's a lot of fun.
It is. It's a ton of fun, and it gives me an incredible amount of respect for teachers because I've gone in like I did one thing in Indiana or somewhere where I did a 10-day thing where 10 days I went and talked to every kid in a city and
It wasn't Indiana.
Oh, it
it
wasn't
was
Indianapolis.
Louisiana.
It wasn't Louisiana either. It was up north.
My mama, sorry, make me think. of
Might have been
Beyonce.
Ohio. I don't know.
I don't
It
know.
sounds terrible. I swear it was a state that starts with the letter. Right now, my brain, you know my brain. Like I say, I got the memory of a young squirrel. So, but I went and I literally talked to every kid in the town. Oh, we don't hold it. We did that in Louisiana too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's right.
It was
But
a small town.
oh yeah, but this other one though. In this other one, I don't think I talked to every kid. I went to every school. That's what it was. I went to
Okay,
every
yeah.
school and I was there for 10 days, and the end of it, I was tired. I mean, it was like you kind of give the same talk over and over and over every day, with like the different
Yeah.
kids. You mix it up. Like, I was able to work with a lot of special needs kids and visually impaired, but most of it was just like classroom after classroom or assembly hall after assembly hall. And it was like, I've already said this. My name is John Bramlett. That doesn't sound right. It's starting to lose all meaning. I don't
Starting
know.
to lose all meaning.
Who am I? Why am I here? What's going on? But for teachers though, they do this every day. I mean, it's just every day, and it's just incredible how much energy that you have to be able to be there and be present and to be able to connect with the kids and give them what they need because you are
Yeah,
their
Brooke.
resource. And yeah. So I mean, it's just
Yeah, I can't.
and
It is exhausting sometimes.
So I usually tell the teachers, like, because I get to know them usually pretty well. So I'm like, well, I'm off, suckers, whatever.
Later.
Guess who gets to go home now? So, but it's just total respect, man. It's just ridiculous, and especially, and I'm saying this, I'm coming from a place of not knowing, which never has kept me from talking, but it seems to me like teaching on a high school level and a middle school and an elementary level is harder in a lot of ways than teaching college, and that you're having to work with minors, where at least college, I mean, not that young college students, and if you're a young college student, I'm not like, dissing you or anything, but I mean,
I
it's.
have a lot of former students that are right there.
Yeah, I mean, a young person just making their way in the world, I mean, still may not have everything together. That's one thing
Yeah.
college is for, but at least they are an adult, where it seems like with school, you have the parents, you have, so much administration. Well, I mean, there's administration in college, but it just seems like it's harder because it is minors, and and I don't know, it's just, but that's just the impression that I've gotten.
But it's rewarding. It's very rewarding.
It would need to be.
It better be.
Yeah. Well, it better be.
So tell me, John, a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah,
The skirt looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm
well,
digging the
thank you. Well,
It looks almost like feathery in a way.
Like
Oh.
peacock. It makes me think of a peacock.
yeah.
Yeah, I completely changed it tonight.
Yeah, you
I was
did.
going for a completely different look, and
You changed it.
I did, and right now I'm using a lemon yellow, and I'm going over the hair, and this is a little tip. If anybody wants to paint, and sometimes people will say, well, how do you get really bright colors? There's a little trick. Add really light colors, over the dark colors, but then you can add the dark colors back over the light, and that may seem counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but it makes it where the light colors are really bright.
They're gonna pop.
Yeah, it's because like if you put down here I have a blue, a really deep blue, and if I put a yellow on this, it'll look darker than if I put it over a white area.
Right.
So if
For
you
sure.
have light paint and dark paint and you interweave it, and also if you mix it up between opaque colors and transparent colors, because then it lets the light go through and really helps it to pop. So, I got to tell you, I got a mad respect for Bob Ross, because we would do a painting in 30 minutes. And,
No joke.
and so far we're 2 hours and some odd minutes into this painting. And I'm still painting really fast, because I normally, and I almost don't want to paint this fast, because if I do, then Jackie's going to expect it every time I do a painting.
I am.
Well, why is it taking you 2-3 days to do that
Yeah.
painting?
Crank out those commissions, buddy.
It's like, well,
Come on.
well, like I've worked for 15 minutes. I need my 10-minute Facebook break. Come on.
I know. Every 20 minutes.
Exactly. 20 minutes. Come on. God.
Who doesn't? So, we have with us on the Facebooks, Kashia Nolan joined us.
Oh.
Dylan said, hello, everyone. I love watching the painting.
Oh, thank
Robin
you, Dylan.
Healy joined us.
Oh,
She
hey.
says, hi, John and Jackie. And we miss you both, which
Oh.
we miss you guys terribly. We really desperately need to hang out and do something.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Definitely. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Man, it's been too long. It's always a blast hanging out with them.
Right now, poop. I put my brush in the wrong paint. I knew it right before I was going to do it. I have my paints in the same spots. And then I was waffling between two colors and then decided on one and then went for the other. So, but I got the right one now. What I'm doing now is I'm adding some highlights into her arm. And I'm going to do her face in a minute. I'm still using a really big round brush. I'll move it up.
Yeah.
So it's just a round. Like I say, on the Patreon, I put a list of all the colors I'm using, and I also put like what brushes and images like of this with the drawing and all that people can use. But honestly, one of the things that I say on there is just that a painting like this you can be so much freer on. If you want to try to do this, because it's a music painting, it's about emotion, it's about feeling, and you can use whatever colors that you feel like. And if you're doing a certain kind of music, then you can pick colors that kind of go with that. So it's a really nice one. And even though this is a painting of a figure, and if you're not into drawing that much, or you don't feel like your drawing skills are that strong, one like this, where the subject matter is music, is a really great place to start. Landscape is really great too. But the nice thing about this is that if you even did part of her face, and then you had like the violin and part of her arms, it wasn't a full realistic drawing, you could go totally abstract. You get some really nice impressionistic techniques with thick paint and stuff, and make a really cool painting. So this is the kind of thing. And right now I'm finger painting and using a brush, and I'm using a smaller round. So it's just like the other one, it's just smaller. Now I would tell you what number it is, but I can't see it, and I would ask them, but there's paint all over it, so they probably can't read it either. But it's probably like a 1, maybe, or 2. But honestly, all brushes they're just tools. And sometimes if you're reading like an art manual, like, oh, I want to get into art, and then you'll go and you'll watch some tutorials, or you'll get a book on it, and it gets really heavy into you having to use a certain brush or a certain tool, and then and that's just I don't feel it's true. I mean, take anything I say with a grain of salt, but they're just tools. You've got pointy brushes like this. That's another pointy brush. You got you have flats. So you have a flat, and the flat is just flat. See, and that's like a 1/2 inch flat. They're just tools. They just help get the sticky stuff where you want it. And usually on a painting that I do, I'll use maybe a few brushes, like maybe a big round, a smaller round, and a flat. Sometimes it'll be completely different. But if you wanted to get into painting, you could totally get into it and not spend a ton of money. And I would suggest that you just go and get like the round paintbrushes. They're called rounds. They're easy. If you ever see like a icon or clip art or a cartoon of a paintbrush, that's a round. It's like, it's got the little tip and it's a little rounder. Those are great. Get a flat. Get a couple of those in different sizes, like a really small one and maybe a bigger one. Play around with it. You don't have to get really expensive ones. You can take care of them, and I can tell you how to do that, where they'll last. I usually buy fairly expensive brushes, but that's because I take care of them, and I want them to keep that little chiseled point. But at first, though, just get some student grade paint. The only difference between that and the artist grade is that there's more pigment in the artist grade, and it's usually a little thicker. But and you can paint on paper. Crayola and somebody else, I can't think who it is, they make white paper and black paper that's meant for art, and it has two different sides. I actually have a giant roll over there. When I'm trying out new techniques, I use it because it's really cheap, and you can just practice. And if you like it, you can cut it out and frame it. So, and it's great for paint. It has a glossy kind of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I should say it's the 30-minute mark.
Oh, okay.
So
Searching for that person.
Well,
The
so
violinist.
well, I'll tell you what. Let's end this segment for it, and I'm gonna work more on her hair and her face and all, and then get going some more.
So we do like the Wayne's World, like,
Yeah.
and then I can hit the damn button. Can I do it?
Yeah, you can, or I can do it later.
Oh, I'm doing it now.
Oh, awesome.
Tune in next time. And now.
Yeah, don't go anywhere if you're watching live.